Just walk us through the dynamics, though, because it feels like you still have this undertow of China where you refuse to give up in terms of the challenge to claim back market share, but you seem to be getting more momentum now on some of the other numbers with 5G.
Thanks, Karen, and thanks for having me on. You're right. You know, we're still suffering a bit in China. China is falling in volumes. So if we exclude China, we were growing 5% in the fourth quarter compared to fourth quarter last year. So the demand for 5G gear is strong. But of course, you know, we need to deal with the situation in China, and we do that by trying to grow elsewhere.
Can I ask you about some of the other numbers too, before I delve too deeply into China? I want to get into the inflation story, and Jeff was just talking about it there. That is relevant for every single company, and I've seen a line in your numbers today. In your report, you're saying so far you've been able to mitigate the inflationary pressure by continuously evolving your product portfolio. What does that look like in practice, and do you foresee a moment where inflation does catch up with you to some extent?
You know, it's quite clear. We have a very or an underlying inflationary environment, you're right. But what we are also doing is the investments we made in R&D throughout the last couple of years, and that has really helped us to develop our product portfolio to be more cost competitive. So we are able to offset some of the or a large part of the inflationary tendencies with actually becoming more efficient and providing lower cost. But ultimately, if this continues, that will be a hard journey, and then we will have to see if we can share that with customers, of course.
Börje, help us understand the problem with 5G in the United States. We thought this was going to be a relatively straightforward rollout, basically determined by how much capital companies were willing to spend and how big the demand was from customers. And then suddenly we started hearing about concerns that planes would fall out of the sky and that this would be bad news for the aviation industry, and they wanted the 5G rollout suspended. Do we need to be concerned here that the 5G rollout is going to take a lot longer now because we just don't understand which other industries are going to be impacted by the new technology?
What you see in the U.S. is the altimeters in some of primarily older airplanes, which operate at frequencies which then FAA says can be impacted by the frequencies in the mid-band. We should at the same time remember that AT&T and Verizon took some voluntary actions to delay some of the rollouts and also installations around airports. But as I see it, you know, if you look globally, the frequency bands in question in North America, they're actually rolled out in 40 countries or so. And we have no reported incidents whatsoever and no reported disturbances. So this is something that will have to be resolved, I would say, in North America and discussed there. But I'm sure we're going to find solutions, because ultimately it's all about creating the future platform for innovation that 5G provides. And we're going to see a large number of applications being developed on top of that network. And I'm convinced North America doesn't want to fall behind on that either.